G'day everyone, today we are heading out to Narrabundah to meet up with Capital Vehicle Weighing. So Brett and Rowena are going to weigh the Patrol and the van. So we've had the Patrol weighed once out at Gundagai and we're pretty close to GVM and the rear axle loads. We've put some new mods since that time into the back of the Patrol. There's been some mods to the van as well. And when we did our 3-month trip around Queensland, I didn't weigh it, but everything was pretty fully loaded. So I've tried to replicate that, not to the same extent, but go have a look at what we've put in the Patrol, what's in the van, and then we'll go weigh it. We've added a UHF, that's not much, but the base rack from Trax, the shovel holders, Max Trax mounts, and an awning, drawer system. So this is all from Trax as well. A wing here, fridge slide, and a large drawer. In the large drawer, we've got some tools, a few straps, seats, fishing gear, a little table, that sort of thing. The 2 chairs on the back there, a table. There's 5 litres of water in there. This is full. Fridge slide has a table as well. Oh, camp oven. Camp oven's always traveling with us. Lithium battery there. There's a compressor under that side. But other than that, it's pretty stock. I would assume being a big Y62, you'd have plenty of weight available to tow a van. So this is not a massive van. 17-foot pop top Jayco Journey Outback. Got 2 80 or 90 litre water tanks. They're both full. Toilet flushes full. On the front, we've got a box with a chainsaw. Fire pit. One of these is empty. That's empty, that jerry can, but we did have it full at times on our trip. There's a fair bit in the boot, but nothing crazy. If we go inside, this is probably where the weight difference is between our Queensland trip and now. So there's not much food in here. We're only going away for a weekend. A little bit in the fridge. There's a few clothes in the back there. A little bit of food, nothing too much. TV, spare hose, power, 2 stand-up paddle boards, privacy screens in there. The only things we're missing, clothes and food. That's about it. The Patrol's full of water, full of fuel. Diesel heater tank's not full. Should be good to get a good idea of what the van weighs and how much room in the GVM, if any, for like a 2-week trip. Oh, I'm gonna put a bike on there. So we had 2 bikes on here. 20 litre water jerry, that's full. What are your bets? Chuck it in the comments before the end of the video. Does the Patrol have enough GVM to tow this thing? And while I got you, don't forget, check out the website, grab a tee, cop a hoodie, winging it hoodies. AS colour, printed on demand, printed in Australia. Go get some. One thing I forgot to mention was the suspension in the Patrol. So the front's stock, the rear has heavy duty standard height springs in it. Here we go. The rain's coming down a little bit, so hopefully we can get this done, but we made it here. We're in the car park at Narrabundah. I'm here with Brett and Rowena from Capital Vehicle Weighing, and we'll go through just briefly the process. What we're going to do is once we get the car set up, Brett's going to set up the scales. I'm going to go right through all of your compliance plates to grab the ratings. Once we've got the facts, the actual weights and what your maximums are, we're going to talk right through it so you understand what it means. What are the most common things that you come across? You're getting like most people are over, most people under? I could say 80 to 90% of our customers, when they arrived at the appointment, they're overweight in one of their ratings. Yeah, okay. Most of the time we can fix that while we've got the scales there, but people always leave with an understanding. So you'll get a measurement of all 4 on the car. Yes, and then so to get all the information that we really need to assess it, we need to weigh the car while it's got the load of the van on it. Yep. We need to weigh the car when it's got no load on it. Yep. And we need to weigh the van. We like to have a good idea of what we've got packed for records. So tell me about the van. Mm-hmm. We've got 2 freshwater tanks on your van? Yeah, both full. I think they're 90 litre. All right, do you have a grey water on your van? No grey water. All right, now I noticed you've got your jerry can holders. Yeah, you've got a jerry can in there. The jerry's empty. There is a chainsaw in the box. And one of the jerry holders is non-standard, so that's been added to the van. Now you've got 1 bike on the back. Do you always take 1 bike with you? Usually 1 bike.
And you always have that rear jerry can full?
Not always. Depends if we're going off grid.
Is there diesel in your diesel heater
Yeah,
tank?
it's about half full. So I think it's a 10-litre tank.
So what we're doing here, we're just checking your ride height.
Yeah.
So when we get you up on the scales, we'll then replicate that exact height when we put the table scale in there. Because once we go up the scales, we'll be 60 mil higher. So
Yeah, true.
I've got to calculate that.
All right, so in the van, we've got pretty much standard food and clothes.
Yeah,
ready to
food and
travel.
clothes is fairly light. There's a fair bit under the bed. The floor
Your
mat,
bits and pieces
really.
that you,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
take.
It's all the standard stuff.
Okay, do you take a generator?
No.
And do you have a barbecue?
No.
All right, great. Let's talk about the car. We've got drawers and a fridge in the back.
Yep, fridge is full
Great.
of drinks.
That's how we like it.
The chairs, table, drawers quite full.
Tools, recovery gear, that
tools
type
and
of
a couple
thing.
of straps.
Yeah. Other than what's in your fridge, any jerry cans or consumables that can vary, firewood.
Firewood would normally go in this box on the van,
Okay.
so I don't carry it in the car, no.
So on the car, other than what we can see, what modifications or accessories have you had put underneath?
The only thing is the springs. The rear springs are the heavy duty standard height.
All right, well, we've got all of those specs. Let's put that in our system and then we'll get you up on the pad.
Handbrake off. Yep, good. Keep going. Keep going. Yep. All right, just go back just a touch. Back. A little bit more. A little bit more. Yep, that's it. All right, if you switch him off there, you stay in because we'll weigh you as well.
Are you getting weights over there?
Yeah, so all of our pads are wireless, transferred over to our reader and our printer. All right, so what we'll do, if you're okay, if Brett and I jump in, because that's going to be able to give you a bit of an indication of what happens when the family's in for weight transfer. So I'll be with the kids. I'm so excited to go away this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to the
Are we
bay.
there yet?
Are we ready? Yeah. There's munchies
I'm
in the back there, I
hungry.
think.
All right, so we've got that one. So what we'll do now is we're going to jump out of the car, we're going to chock the van, and we want to lift the van off the car so we can take the weight off.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to give us a car on its own, no van.
Lift that up. Yeah.
Handbrake. We should be able to keep all the chains, the electrical's still attached.
Okay.
But what we want to do is raise the van off the back of the car so we've got no weight. Okay, yeah, that's
You got more? Well, that's clear.
All right, if you jump in now and we'll wait again.
Do I have to hold still?
You have to breathe in while it's happening.
Yeah, right. Here we go. Family mode.
All right.
Brake off.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to grab some specs off the car. So we want to look at what the car's GVM rating is. We want to look at what the manufacturer's axle ratings is, tow capacity, and that's unique to every car. So it's really important we grab every car's details.
What's next?
Okay, Louis, what we'll do, we'll get you to hop back in and we'll reverse off the scales and then we'll reposition the scales under the van and then we'll come forward
Onto
the
there.
scales. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, perfect. If you switch him off there. So we're trying to keep close to what they are. Now we'll drive back up on the scales and then we'll unhitch the van. Alright, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Yep, just a touch more. Yep, how's that, Rowena?
Just another nudge.
Another nudge?
That's it.
Yep, perfect. If you switch him off there, and we'll now unhitch the van. Keep the chain still attached while we do this process of lifting it up.
Yeah.
And then we'll remove the chains up once we've disengaged, and we'll chock the back wheels. So we make sure we're not going to go anywhere. Keep going. Yep, that's great. So now we'll completely unhitch him. All right, so we'll grab our table scale.
Okay, so we're starting at 500, so we're just going to come down. That's 90, 85, and stop.
Very good.
There we go.
I'll talk right through all the weights and what they mean broken down,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back to the summary of what the overall package is doing. But let's first of all talk about the car on its own. Now, your Patrol has a maximum rating of 3,500 kilos.
Yeah.
Today, the car on its own, no van on it, just the car with you in it, full tank of fuel, drawers, fridge, all of your accessories, weighs 3177. All right,
Okay,
its maximum's 3,500.
Yeah.
We've still got a couple of 100 kilos of payload left.
Yeah.
But we've got to include the family and we've got to include the tow ball of our van. The weight is relatively evenly distributed between the axles. The front of the car here is about 15, 16 kilos versus 16, 60 kilos. It's pretty much evenly distributed. The back's 100 kilos heavier. We'd expect that because you don't have a bull bar.
Yeah.
You've got a few bits and pieces in the back, but it's pretty even. The reason I point that out is because when we hitch your tow ball on there, everything changes. The first one that changes is the car gets heavier.
Yeah.
So when we hitch your van to your car, the tow ball becomes part of the car's load. Today, when we had the tow ball on there, we had yourself and we had Brett and I simulating the family, and the car weighed in at 3,500 kilos.
Jeez.
I kid you not, I have it printed. I know it's to the round number.
I planned that.
So then we look at where that weight is distributed. The rear axle on your Patrol has a rating of 20, 30 kilos. And today, when we've got the van on and the family in the car, we're right on 2 tonne.
Yeah, right. 30 kilos under.
30 kilos under
yeah.
when we're static. So we lift weight from the front. The front, when we put the van on, we take 100 kilos off the front of the car.
Yeah,
That's
right.
coming off the steering, the braking, the front of the car gets lighter,
Yeah.
and the back of the car is getting much heavier. The critical safety factor is having the right rating suspension. So we now know, in summary, car's at its maximum, rear axle's at its maximum. So let's look at the van. The van has an overall rating off its compliance plate of 2470 kilos. All right, we can't exceed 2470. With everything that you've got packed in there today, we weigh 2380. So we've got under 100 kilos
100.
left.
Wow, yeah.
in our overall weight. But what is more relevant is what happens to that weight when we're using it. When we're using it, the weight is distributed between the van's axles. That's the weight the van carries. That's the weight you pull when you hitch it to the car. The van itself is carrying right on the manufacturer's limits. You can have 2269 here.
Yeah.
It's carrying 2230. It's full. 30 kilos left here and we're done.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
Yeah. On the tow ball, that's the one that everybody's interested in. On your tow ball today, we've got 162 kilos. That tow ball is on the lighter side of the scale.
Yeah.
So it represents 6.7% of the van's overall weight.
Right, yeah.
Industry
They say 10%,
guidelines,
right?
yeah. 10% is the magic number that people like to reference, and it is a good reference point.
Yeah.
We like to see between 8 to 12%. What it tells us is that it's light on the tow ball.
Yeah.
Now the van is sitting evenly on its axles, so it sits at the right ride height.
Yeah.
There's no problems with that, but it tells us that there's rear weight lifting that tow ball.
Okay.
We know that that's the case because you've got your 20 litre jerry can full on the back.
True.
We've got our bike on the back.
Yep.
We've got about 5 litres of diesel on the back.
Yep.
But we don't have much front weight. So what it tells us is that when you've got that rear jerry can full, we've got to have a front one full. So in summary, the car's at its maximum with its current ratings. The van has 100 kilos left, but where you put that 100 kilos is going to be really crucial. So we don't have much left to take much more other than what we've got packed today.
No.
We can tweak things a little bit to make it travel a little bit safer, but we have to remember in the back of our minds that every action has a reaction. We want a little bit more weight on the tow ball, but that's going to have an effect on the car. That's going to put us over. So really, our Patrol is saying to us, GVM upgrade. As the kids get older, they're going to get heavier. You're going to want to take more things with you. To be able to do that and maintain your ratings, GVM upgrade. The other benefit of doing that is at the moment you're restricted with what the van can carry extra load. If you had more capacity in the car, you would be able to utilise the car for more load for those
true.
bigger trips. So if you had a little bit of extra food or some more clothes or bits and pieces, you can utilise the car. At the moment, nothing else can really come with you.
Yeah, interesting. It's good to know. Wow, there you go. Right on the limits.
Right on the limits. So the last rating we look at is your gross combination. Today, when you're hitched up, you are 5.5 tonne. So that really changes your driving habits, your driving styles. It also puts you into a different category for your speed limit. Do you know what your speed limit is when you're driving and towing your van?
No, I would have said just the normal speed limit.
Yep, and majority of caravanners, that's what they expect to.
Yeah.
But no, now you're over the 4.5 tonne combination. That means your speed limit is 100 kilometres in New South Wales.
Yeah, right.
Right,
Okay.
so if you're on the highway and it's 110, your rig 100 kilometres, absolute maximum. It comes down to the conditions of the road, the conditions of the traffic, how you're feeling to your maximum, but no more than 100.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Heard the 90k thing, but I don't know where that's come from. You hear it every now and then.
90k's is the sweet spot for most cars and vans for efficiency and stability. You drive to the conditions.
Yeah.
Because now we're not a 3 tonne, we're 5.5 tonne. So let's have a look at how that weight shifts with our jerry can. So first of all, let's see just by removing it altogether. So by removing our 20 kilo weight, we've reduced the overall weight of the van, but we've put back on the ball 13 kilos. Now, when we put it on the front, if we just sit it, all right, we've added it back to our overall. We've now increased our tow ball to 194.
Jeez.
So
That's a huge difference.
even though it's a 20 kilo weight, where it's positioned can add 30 kilos to the tow ball or reduce 30 kilos to the tow ball. So now our tow ball's 194, let's call it. We're now around that 8%. So that's going to tow much more stable than having that weight on the back. But as you just pointed out, now you're thinking about it, it's all making sense. We've added 30 kilos to the car.
Right.
And that means we're at our rear axle.
We're at our rear axle.
That's right.
Spot on.
Spot on the rear axle load then. And then the 3.5 tonne you go over by.
30 kilos.
30
But that's where
kilos.
it's important to have buffers in your weights and not be on the limit. What we see here is not uncommon to what we see with most of our customers. What we recommend from here is we give you a really detailed report with all the weights broken up on it. And we recommend that you use your bathroom scales, have a notebook for the van and the car to just have a bit of a tally and a list of how your load changes.
What am I adding? What am I taking?
What am I adding?
away?
What are we taking? What's our sort of normal common load? The other hint we give to customers is to have a bit of an idea of how much weight you're putting in your van with your food. Surprises people how quickly food adds up. Another hint we can give you for this weekend is fridges and drawers add a lot of rear weight to cars.
Yes.
A way to manage that is to be mindful of how much weight's in your fridge when you're towing. Try and use your fridge with your trip things, so your sandwich, drink bottles, and then when you get to where you're going, load it all up. You've unhitched your van, then you can load that fridge right up with all your drinks and
central of
things.
the vehicle
put
while
it
you're
central in the
travelling or
car,
something.
in between the axles.
Yeah.
Put it in between the axles of the van, so that it's not right on the rear. Majority of customers have got restrictions. It's about knowing where your limits are. For you, it's rear axle and car. Watch that tow ball.
Such an eye-opener. So I definitely thought it would be close. Didn't know for sure whether it'd be over or under or whatever. But yeah, there's no room. There's no room for anything as it is.
No. Would there be any wish list items for accessories for the car or the van changes that you would, on your wish list for next time you do a big trip?
I don't know if there is. We could go away like straight away, but there'd be more stuff we would add in. Like there's not much clothes in there now. There's not much food in there right now. So to be on the limit as it is, that's like, really start to think about what you're actually going to take. And absolutely, if I had the money, I'd be decking this thing out with all the bar work. Imagine that. Bar work and bash plates and winch.
And that's where you start to
Way
really
over.
need, way over when you're towing. It's very hard to have a car that's set up for touring and four-wheel driving and towing. Very hard, without having very specific customised engineering and rating.
So just on your services, you travel, I see a lot. You're down the coast. What are you?
Yeah, we're
where are you travelling?
primarily based in Canberra. This is our full-time thing in Canberra.
Yep.
We weigh Monday to Friday in Canberra, mainly caravans, but we also do cover the region. So we go down the coast.
Yep.
So we do bring the services out to the regional areas as well to help people out there. We always keep our details on our Facebook page and our website, so people can follow us on there to see where we are. And as you can see, like from today, having that professional service go over it, get the ratings, explain what it is for your van. It's a very different service to just running it over and a weighbridge and getting the weight.
100%. Yeah, there's nothing like this at Gundagai. Brilliant.
So you are all set now.
That's unreal.
To go away.
Yeah. There you go. How about that? Patrol and van are right at their limit. Brett and Rowena do an amazing job. They provided so much detail in their explanation. They also have a method which we didn't film. They asked me not to. Something that they do that's quite unique, and that is show a visual representation of the weights, and then what the differences are when you change the weights or move things from one location to another. Highly recommend the service. I've got this report now and it'll stay with me in the car, and I know for a fact that when we go away on weekends, our whole setup is completely legal and within spec, because half the stuff that I've packed for today's weigh-in wouldn't be taken on a weekend. Probably wouldn't even take for a week. If we were doing a long trip where we're going to cover some ground, I'd bring my tools, I'd bring a jerry can potentially. If we're going off grid for a long period, then yeah, we're probably towing the line when it comes to our weights. I hope you got some good info out of that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, jump on the website if you want to grab a t-shirt or a hoodie. Take it easy.